Right now, you're witnessing something incredibly special in the aquarium world. We see that my Jewel Cichlid pair has laid eggs, and both parents are here taking turns fanning them. Now, we are going to spend the next few moments watching this amazing natural behavior unfold. I'll explain exactly what they are doing, why they are doing it, and what it tells us about their instincts and the psychology of the Jewel Cichlids. If you have ever wondered what it's like to see fish parenting in action, then you're at the right place. What we see now is their parental instincts in full swing. Let's talk a little bit about their territorial defense over here. So, as you would have noticed, one of them is swimming off to the edge of the tank and then quickly darting back. Well, that's patrol behavior. So, even in a tank with no predators, their instinct tells them that there could be danger nearby. Other fish, or even in the wild, you could have birds, amphibians, and other cichlids. And here we see that Jewel cichlids have evolved to assume the worst. So if something moves near their eggs, it is a threat. They are not going to think twice. They are not going to, reflect over it or ponder over it. No. They know it's a threat, and for them, a threat needs to be eliminated. That's why they have the reputation of being aggressive. Now, in their psychology, there's no such thing as too much caution when it comes to protecting their young. It's all out, and they do their best in order to give the best possible chance for their young ones to thrive. Now, let's dwell into the philosophy of protection. You could say Jewel cichlids live by a simple philosophy. If you are not with us, you are against us. They will even see other Jewel cichlids as competition when guarding eggs. This might seem harsh to us. Okay, it might seem that they kind of have no heart. This is what we would actually call it. When we spiritualize things, you would say, they have no heart, or they are so rude, so wild, so aggressive, untamable. But in evolutionary terms, it makes perfect sense. Why? Because in the wild, as we also see in the evolution theory, it is only the strong or the fittest that survive. And therefore, we see that it's only the strongest, most protective parents pass on their genes in the wild. So, what we are seeing right now is millions of years of evolution condensed in this moment. Two fish working together as a perfect little survival team. Now, you would have probably noticed change in their colors. That bright, almost glowing red and iridescent blue. That's another part of their breeding psychology. Now, those colors aren't just for show. They signal health, strength, and readiness. Now, in the wild, a mate that is vibrant and bold is one that can defend the territory and care for the fry. It's like wearing your best suit of armor. The more dazzling it is, the more it says, I'm strong, don't think of messing around with me. And what you can also see here is the kind of bond that these two have. And therefore, this is another thing to appreciate: their teamwork, their coordination, and each one just taking turns guarding the nest. Now these two have formed a bond. Now Jewel Cichlids don't always pair up for life, but when they are in breeding mode, they act like an unstoppable unit. One guards, one fans. Then they swap without hesitation and they trust each other completely. And in terms of fish psychology, this is extremely rare. Now, another thing that you would also notice, that you would also observe here, is that these two have in a way formed a bond. Now, a breeding tank isn't quite big. Now, if these two had not bonded that well, there would be some kind of aggression among them. Now, as I said last time, we also had a male and female earlier, and the female had died out of exhaustion because the male was just chasing it around. In this case, we see that they've already formed this kind of a pair, and this, my dear friends, is their second spawn. If you have been following our stories all over this while, you would have seen the growth and development of the fry. If you have not, you can go down into the channel shorts and check it out. We have made a couple of shots on them, and we have now actually just yesterday we separated the fry from the parents, and it is said that once you separate the fry, they immediately begin spawning, and just within a day you can see that we moved them to this breeding tank and they started spawning, and today they have laid eggs and now they are taking care of them. Let's come to things more important here. So what's next for these eggs? Now these eggs will usually hatch in 2 to 3 days depending on temperature and other conditions around. So at first we will see that the fry will be tiny wrigglers and they will stay close to the spawning site. Even then we see that the parents will be constantly tending to them, sometimes even moving them to a safer spot. And here's the amazing part: they don't just guard them, they also teach them. They lead them to find food, and they'll also guide them around the territory. In this case, they'll guide them around the tank. Now this whole process explains why Jewel Cichlids are in a way considered as tank terrors or aquarium terrors by beginners. If you would have seen our last video on why they are a nightmare for beginners, you would see that they are quite an interesting species to actually kind of study, observe, and even learn about. And keeping them is both a joy and can also be a source of anxiety. Now, this does not mean that they are mean for the sake of being mean. As we said last time, they are just wired to protect what's theirs at all costs. So their psychology is pure survival mode, that is, defend territory, protect offspring, and drive out anything unfamiliar. And even in an aquarium, even in this breeding tank, as you can see now, with no predators, that instinct never turns off. It's who they are. Now what's really humbling is realizing that this same scene happening right now also does happens in the rivers and the streams. Okay, and right now this may also be happening in some of the rivers in West Africa. Somewhere out there there'll be a Jewel Cichlid pair that's exactly doing the same thing what we are watching, that is fanning, guarding, defending, and ensuring the next generation survives. We are just lucky enough to see it from our living rooms. So that's the story of what's happening right now in our tank. It's a mix of biology, psychology, and pure instinct at work. So that brings us to the end of another video where we explored the interesting aspects of the parental life of the Jewel Cichlids. We got to understand them a little bit more, and hopefully that will change our attitude towards them. So keep watching this space for more updates. We'll be having live watches where we'll be keeping watch and seeing how the situation unfolds, how the eggs hatch. And also please subscribe to the channel and do join us for further watch alongs and live streams. Thank you.